All right.
Okay.
Your wall's really filling up over there now.
Yeah, it's starting to. Yeah, we're running out of real estate.
That's a good problem. We can always
Huh.
rearrange. We got
Yeah.
a spot where you got your helmets hanging over there.
Yeah, I was thinking about moving those over here, actually.
Yeah, it'll just depend on
Yeah,
what
I've been
flow
looking at it. Yeah.
you're going for. What are we going to talk about today? Snowmageddon?
Yeah. Oh, jeez,
The Blizz?
Man. The Blizz. Yeah, it's definitely a blizzard out there.
Oof, she's chilly.
Man, nasty weather.
Yeah. We can, yeah. We can bring up the, let's see.
Yeah.
Bang.
Look at that.
Check that out. So, I know some people are just listening and not watching, but, got the live wind chill map up.
Yeah.
What do we got for the low?
Brutal, man.
Negative 34-ish?
Man,
Yeah.
that's cold. Yep.
You know, yeah.
That is brutal.
Look, even some of those temperatures like California,
I know it.
42, 50s.
Yeah, I was listening. I can't even remember what podcast it was yesterday. They were in Arizona. They were saying it was 30 degrees. They had frost on the ground. Man.
Dude, look at Texas.
Yeah.
Look at some of those temperatures.
Yeah, 0, 3.
19,
wow.
13 degrees with the wind chill. Damn.
Yep. You know, those guys are hurting.
Oh, man.
Because we're used to it, so.
Yeah, but even today.
I mean, even for us, it was cold. Cleaning the vehicle off, it was cold.
Yeah, it's definitely the coldest day.
Coldest snap we've had yet.
Yeah.
For sure.
Those are feel like temperatures. I just want the current.
So, yeah, things are going good. Channel's growing.
Yeah.
We got even some more new subs.
Yes.
So, address that real quick.
Yeah.
For all of you guys that are new to the channel, again, we are not professionals. We're not giving anybody any advice. The whole premise of this channel is to really just have you guys watch us struggle with very difficult subjects sometimes, topics that are just, you're going to watch us really go back and forth in real time on this because it's not scripted.
Right.
Watch us change our mind back and forth probably sometimes in the same show. Last week I did,
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't like anything that gets yucky and uncomfortable sometimes, because some of these things that we talk about are, but we also like to have fun, talk about lighthearted stuff too, and just mix it up. It's really just the idea of like two normal people and what they think, I think it's a lot of fun to have people watch us struggle with this stuff sometimes, because they struggle with it. Everybody struggles with this stuff. So
yeah, that's what I was gonna say is the things we talk about or ideas we have. I'm sure other people have thought the same thing, and they'd like to see someone else break it down.
Sure.
To their own perspective. How do they feel about this? Help them understand how they feel about it a little better too.
Yeah, and then, it's you and I bouncing this back and forth. Helps us grow as people, helps us kind of sharpen up our feelings on this, understand our feelings a little better on it. Why, not only do I believe this, but why do I believe it?
Right.
Why is this so cemented into my belief system? So to challenge that, we definitely, take turns feeling uncomfortable having our thoughts and opinions challenged.
Yeah, because it gets scary when you start realizing the only reason you have a certain opinion is because you aligned other opinions with someone else, so that you took their position on this, not really feeling out how you felt. You just felt obligated, like, well, so-and-so and I agree on this, and they believe this way about this subject, so I'm just going to go with that instead of doing research on my own or ironing out my own feelings. Yeah, you take the path of least resistance.
Exactly. And now, these guys, the audience, get to watch us flesh this out in real time.
I'm just as guilty as anybody of doing that, right?
Yeah, we all do it, So tribalism, right? They call it.
I call it even to a point, just laziness.
That too, you know,
It's
sure.
easier if you just tell me how to think about this one thing going on in the world.
Yeah, I'll just get the information here real quick and regurgitate it.
Right. Instead of really, not that, I know you may not have time to sit down on every single topic,
always.
but at least think about it.
Right.
Think about it and try to get a couple different opinions on it, right?
Yeah.
Because people definitely like to manipulate situations to either get clicks or to get follows or narcissism, right? Just to feel like they can control the minds of their audience.
Yeah.
To go out and, then they start watching tweets about shit. So I say something, right? And then I watch my followers go out and start tweeting the same shit I just told them. Even though I know that I intentionally probably put a certain spin on things, right?
Sure. It happens out there a lot.
Yeah.
It happens on the media that we consume, and even some of the best intentions out there. What was it? The pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. Yeah, I like that saying.
And I believe that's where it starts, right?
Right. And I mean, at least I can't speak for you myself. I want to affect culture, instead of just sitting around bitching about it all the time. It was, well, what are you gonna do about it? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I thought, well, this is a good way to do it. Watch me wrestle with some of these things that are hard.
Yeah.
If I guess our whole saying always was, we're not going to tell you what to think, we're just going to tell you to think.
Right.
If we could just get people to think, awesome.
Right. And I think that's, I have a problem with that too, because people say, well, all we do, you hear a channel like, man, we feel bad, all we do is sit here and complain about this and that. But I think getting the information out there is the most important thing. People shouldn't be coming to anybody to find an answer or solution necessarily.
Right.
Okay? I think the information, you're just taking it in, and it's up to you how to break that down and form your own opinion, and then how you're going to go out in the world, right, and articulate your own opinion on said subject.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
It's a good way.
I think too many people are looking to a single person to be a savior to fix a problem, and that's probably why we're in the situation we're in.
Absolutely. I've been very good lately about consuming media from people I disagree with, even to mix it up, because I wanted to step back and make sure that some of these things I'm really thinking my way through, and man, sometimes I found myself lately, like, I don't really know what to think about that. Where before I would have come down on one side, absolute, because I fell in that trap, the talking points of other shows, or a certain way of viewing it, and just towing the party line, they call it, right? So I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I'm really, like I said, fleshing this stuff out.
Yeah.
I want to.
Well, that's what I think is important, is that any of these difficult issues that anybody faces in their lifetime, the best thing you can do is not look to someone to be the fix-all. And don't just consume content to be outraged.
Right.
Consume it, right?
Yeah, because
understand it in your mind, and then go out in the world and spread a good message and inform other people that are misinformed.
Right.
We've had conversations, I told you, where it's going to take me a minute, but I told you I was talking to this person at work, and what was it? The 2 out of 3. I said 2 out of 3 people I was talking to about a certain subject didn't even know. Man.
Oh, I vaguely remember that conversation too, but
abortion.
Yeah.
That's what 2 out of 3 people thought that the ruling from the Supreme Court banned abortion across the United States. 2 out of 3 of my coworkers.
Right.
Thought.
Yeah, because then I came back with, well, how many people still believe, Kyle Rittenhouse was out shooting people of color, right? Like white supremacists.
And this is important for the people listening. because I had gathered the information on that topic,
right.
I was able to inform them. No, actually, the ruling that came down did not ban abortion in the United States.
Right.
This is what it means. It means it's up to the states to decide for themselves what action they're going to take on abortion. Yeah. Whether they're going to have restrictions, they're going to have no restrictions,
of what side of the political aisle you fall on, you should be happy for that ruling. That it empowered the state. You know, like, I don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat, liberal, conservative, right wing, left wing, everybody should agree that empowering each individual state was by far the best way of handling any of these topics that, we face as Americans. So.
Right. Which that statement itself is going to cause controversy.
Sure it will.
But what you're saying, and it's
because we're the melting pot, right? We're all supposed to be different. Each state should be able to be different,
right? And what you're trying, I believe what you're trying to say, because the way I feel, the federal government shouldn't have any say.
Oh, absolutely, right? No, they get them the hell out of it. You should be able to decide. You should be able to decide yourself,
right? And then you get to elect the people locally that make these decisions.
Exactly.
And
I like the idea that the states are different. You can choose to live in a state that represents your belief system better, more accurately. But I think when you take diversity, right, what makes America so great is all these different people coexisting together for a cause, right? Like, the American dream. We're all working towards that American dream. But when you blend us all together like that, it strengthened us. So when you take the states, I kind of view them the same way as like individual people, right? Like I don't want cookie cutter people, and I don't want cookie cutter states. I like the diversity. I like that, if this person feels this way and I feel that way, we can debate this back and forth. And like Luke says, let the best ideas win,
Right.
And I think when we empower states to themselves to do that, it strengthens us as a country. And absolutely, I do not want the federal government telling someone what they can and cannot do with their body, even if I'm against abortion, and in a lot of ways I am. I don't want laws making it illegal, right? That's between that person, their doctor, and if they believe in a higher being, their Lord.
Yeah.
It's just I hate the idea of the federal government just overseeing that, and then that whole idea of like one size fits all narrative, right? That because now the government controls it, the federal government, I should say. Everything falls underneath that umbrella, right? It's just a one-way, narrow point view of looking at things, and I don't think that's right. They're case-by-case individual situations. Like, I guess. If I can explain it. That's probably a real clumsy way of doing it.
Right, but automatically people are going to go, well, you're pro-life, you're anti-abortion just because you said it was a good thing in states, and nobody's saying that.
No, not at all. Actually, because I feel the exact opposite as far as laws. Like, I don't think they should ban abortion. I don't want people to have them. I don't want babies to be killed. I would much rather babies be born and given up for adoption than killed. But I definitely don't want it to be illegal. I don't want laws. I just don't want the federal government being in control of that stuff. I don't think it's their right and their job.
No.
I think as an individual person, you need to wrestle with that yourself, whether or not that's what you want to do with your pregnancy.
Right.
It's not up to me to decide that for you. It's not up for the federal government to decide that for you. So I try really hard, and I'm not perfect at this. I don't know that anyone is, but to stand by your convictions, right? That, oh man,
because the hard. One thing, right? Because you say, well, I'm standing by my convictions on this one subject,
right?
And then 3 subjects later, you're contradicting yourself.
Exactly.
Because all of a sudden, then you go, oh shit, like this kind of parallels, even though it's a different topic, kind of parallels. So
it is very
hard. How
can
I take my stance on this thing when
it's very hard to do that, and it takes a lot of practice. And I catch myself fumbling this a lot.
Sure.
I do. I fumble this, but I try to recognize it and then double back down. Like, if I believe in small government, like I can't have these beliefs only when it benefits me,
right,
or my side of the debate, right, my side of the argument. So now. Yeah, I free speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, no one wanted free speech on Twitter when one half was ruling. Now that the other half's kind of taken some power, now all of a sudden it's an issue. I hate that. It's so just disingenuous. You know what I mean?
They wanted to be able to have their free speech. And not hear the other side. Now that their side, they feel like their speech is being silenced. Now
all of a sudden it's an issue. Right. And to me, it's so disingenuous. Like
they know what they're doing. Let's not bullshit here. They know exactly what they're doing. Sure,
they know.
They were cheering when other people were being silenced, and then they start getting silenced, and now they're bitching.
Yeah, and it was only the most extreme versions of what on their side that's being silenced, right? So I try to not be one of them people. Right. I don't want to be that guy.
No, that's tit for tat.
Yeah. So even for abortion, even though I'm very much against it personally, legally, I want them to leave it alone. Like, don't touch it. I don't want it to be banned in laws. And I like the idea of letting each individual state figure it out, and because every state's not going to agree on this. There's going to be a wide gambit of options so that said person wants to have an abortion, said person's going to be able to have one in this country, probably forever. I just cannot imagine every state agreeing on this. No. They never have on anything, and they're never going to, and I like it that way. So yeah, stand by your convictions. It's hard. It's practice it, guys, and see how many times you yourself will catch yourself going, oh crap, now I kind of painted myself right into that corner, didn't I? And it's very uncomfortable sometimes. Right. I don't want to be that guy.
Especially if you talk it for any length of time with a certain group of people, or coworkers for a year or two, you're gonna, you'll catch them contradicting themselves, or they'll catch you contradicting yourself, because they'll say, wait a minute, and it's fine to change your mind and have a different opinion. You should. That's growth.
Yep. You should be evolving your way of thinking. The whole idea of this, so when you guys call us out on something, like, I don't get upset about that. Call me out. Yeah. If I made a mistake, show me. Fair enough. I'll apologize for it, or I'll grow from it, be a better human being for it. Or if it's something I had addressed before, like, I'll double down on it a little bit. And,
yeah, with that said, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell. Yeah. You see that little bell, click it, turns black, and then you guys will get notified whenever we drop our new videos.
Yeah, and that's the point of having a comment section, is we read and respond to every comment.
Right. We want the feedback.
We like the interaction. We like to see what people say. What are their ideas? What kind of questions do they have?
So yeah, is there something that's really yucky that you want to see us sweat and scratch our heads over while we're trying to figure it out in real time? Throw it in the comments, and we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
And kick it back and forth and see. And sometimes these things are gonna be kind of uncomfortable. They make me squirm.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, especially there's a couple of them. Abortion, that was a hard one that we went back and forth on in that one show, and that was hard. Like, man, that's a little uncomfortable on a lot of levels. For one, because it's passionate, right, on both sides. It's
I don't tie any emotion to it, is my thing.
Right.
In my eyes, I'm full body autonomy. Yeah. What you do is between you and it's just up to you. I'm not going to tell you if you can get tattoos or not. Right. I'm not going to tell you if you can do illegal drugs. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah, what you do to yourself, like...
Now, if you get stuck in a rut and you need help, I want services available so you can get off drugs. Or if you're on the fence about should I get an abortion, I want resources there so you can work that out with somebody, whether or not that's a path you want to take.
It's a good segue into something too.
Outside of that, like, I don't give a shit.
Like the safety net, the services. That was something I did want to kind of get into with you and kind of bat it back and forth and pick your brain at it, because that was one of those areas where I've evolved multiple times my way of thinking about, social services and, welfare, help for people that need it. And then I've heard the narratives a few different times, probably lots of times. This person's got the bridge card and they're eating these fancy steaks, and I work 40, 50 hours a week, and I'm eating a bologna sandwich. That's so unfair. And I kind of wanted to touch on that because I think that's unfair, that statement.
Yeah.
Because there's been a couple times in my life where I needed help. I hit bottom and reached out, and I used that service. And I don't remember ever a time where I was eating fancy steaks.
Yeah.
While someone behind me was, buying bologna that had a job. Like, I'm not saying it never happens that, someone doesn't fill their cart with some junk food and they're paying for it with a bridge card versus, their debit card or cash. But I don't think it's nearly as common as it's been made out to be. You know what I mean? It's like, people are irresponsible and they just want to live on the system so that they can eat well, because living on the system sucks.
Yeah, I would assume
there's a lot of things about it that really stink.
I've been fortunate up to this point in my life. I have never had to use any of the systems. I'm glad that those nets are there. But I can't imagine. I don't think anybody, even if people are there and they've been there for a long time, I don't think they like it. I think it's just become a way of life, and they don't know how to get out of that rut.
And you know what? If your life is, you're down on your luck that bad that you got to be on the system, right? And maybe you are having a bad month, and that month you go into the store and you throw some really nice food in the cart. So what?
I don't give a shit.
I don't care. Why do people pick a fight about this? Like, is that the hill you want to die on, about what someone has in the cart to eat in front of you? Like, we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to the Ukraine, and you want to bitch about.
I was just gonna say, I think it's because that's something they can see right in front of their face, in front of their community, and they feel like they can address that one thing because it's on such a small level, and they probably feel powerless to speak out on the complete waste of the majority of their money.
Right. And I think our country should be fiscally responsible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying, put yourself in that person's shoes for a minute, too, before you judge them, Think about it, man. If your life sucked that bad, like, you're getting a little happiness out of eating some Twinkies and some chips, like, it's not, food's bad for you. You shouldn't eat it, but...
Well, they're two separate subjects.
Right.
The kind of food you can buy and having, at what time are you able to get the assistance. They're two different subjects, and people like to tie them together. Mm-hmm. But I know disabled people that are never going to work outside of a very... Man, I don't want to be disparaging in any way here. You know what I'm saying? Whatever job they do is not going to be a financially sustaining job, right? They're going to need help, okay? So if there's someone disabled out there and they want to buy, like you said, some Twinkies or some Mountain Dew, like, because you're going to point out some abusers, somebody that really doesn't have a choice because they didn't choose the brain or body they were born with, now they can't enjoy these little things in life, some Pop-Tarts or...
I just think that someone buying a steak on the state's dime is such a small... There's so much bigger stuff for us to worry about as a state and as a country,
then you wonder, is that one of those things to point us in the direction of contention with each other, so we don't focus on
the big division,
the big waste that's happening, right?
Yeah, because we're all distracted on, the left hand. You're not paying attention to what the right hand's
Right.
doing. And
Right.
I think that, being on the system, because, it's happened to me a couple of times, and it's really hard to get off of it. It's kind of a trap. And I always felt like we need reform. I think there's better ways to do it. But, when conservatives say they want reform, they mean they just want to cut it,
Yeah.
right? Slim it down, give people less. I don't think that's the way to do it. I've known people that they've gotten on assistance, and once you're on it, you can't get off. You lose your health insurance. Like, what are you going to get a job that makes less than what you were making on the system? So why not? I always thought it would be kind of a neat idea if, as an American, there should be a safety net for you, right? In this country, because bad shit happens sometimes to good people, right? So have a net to help them if they fall on hard times. Let's give people assistance for 2 years. You know what? You're going to get it for 2 years. You can go to college if you want, and we're not going to kick you off for it because, see, a lot of times, at least in this state, going to school was not an option. Like they didn't care.
Wow.
They want you to go back to work, right? To push you off the system, get you back working. And you could be like, well, so what? You're going to tell people, well, don't go to college so that you could get a little bit better job. You know what I mean? Just take the first job you can get at a grocery store, or fast food. No one wants to leave the system to go into that kind of a job, typically, right? Because they're going to make less money, and now they got to buy their food. So why not, if people do go back to work, give them assistance for you know what? Fine. You're going to take this job at the grocery store. We're going to give you your assistance for a year so that you don't lose your health insurance, give you time to get back into work, maybe get a promotion at work or apply. Okay, here's a job to get you started, but keep applying for a better job, and eventually you're going to get a management position somewhere, a little bit better paying job. Why punish people for trying to do the right stuff and then reward them for sitting on their ass and not going back to work? You know what I mean? Like, it's backwards.
Yeah,
it's a
why?
trap.
I guess why?
Sell them the health insurance instead of giving it to them. If you go back to work, we're going to give you sell you this health insurance at a discounted rate. Could we do that and sell them the Medicaid? Because at least you're generating some revenue back versus just having that person on the system for 20 years and paying for their health insurance 100% the whole time because they won't get off the system. I just think you could promote people to go back to work, reward them for doing the right decisions, right? Instead of punishing them for it. Give them the breadcrumbs and help them put their life back together instead of just saying, well, we'll give you money, just enough to scrape by, and the bridge card and your health insurance, which is a big deal, and just stay on the system and you're fine. Like, I just think it's backwards the way we do it. I want to help people fix their life.
I assume that the problem is so big that they don't have the resources, so they just throw a big blanket over it, right?
Maybe.
Because, okay, so how do you... So, you'd almost have to have it set up, if you're between this age and this age, to get assistance, you're going to have to go to school or work, right?
Right.
And if you're going to do either of those, then we got to give you vouchers to get there, because you might not have a vehicle.
Right.
Right? The education one, I think, is big. Because I think if they required... Because at some point, right, if you're 70 years old and you're on assistance, like...
Yeah.
What are you going to do at this point, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's ever too late, but...
Most people at that age are not going to go back to school.
Right.
And start a new career, right? Like...
So you'd almost have to set up an age class where if you're between this age and this age, we need you to get an education, right? Because that's the best thing for that person, right? To better enrich their life, right?
At least an associate's degree in something where they can at least start applying for a little bit higher paying job. right?
Right, because the goal
Yeah.
shouldn't be just a minimum wage job, and so what we'll do is we'll just keep raising the minimum wage,
Sure.
which is just
And then, lots of
shrinking the
people
middle
lie about
class,
it too,
right?
and they're like, have you been applying for jobs? Yep, I've been applying for jobs. I applied for 5 jobs this week. And they weren't, because they don't want that job. Who in the hell would? Who would seriously want to go back to work in a low paying job that you're going to lose money, lose your health insurance? Because, a lot of them low paying jobs, they're not going to pay for your health insurance.
No, and most of
They
them
work
aren't
at,
even full
30,
time.
32 hours a week or
Maybe,
less.
Yeah.
Because anything more than that, once Obamacare had kicked in, then they were responsible to cover your insurance. I was a manager at that time. I had a bunch of employees, and the first thing I did was cut everybody's hours. That's what our company did. It was sad, because people lost money, and then they had to pay for insurance. So
you'd need a lot more like community resource people that would go. Man, I don't even know how you would.
God, I'd love to see some people just sit down at a table and from all walks, all walks of life, like not just some stuffy suit people that think they're smarter than everyone else in the world. Put some people that's on assistance in there and listen to them about what their problems are. What are their concerns? Why are you not going back to work? What obstacles are in your way? And let's fix this shit.
I think education's the biggest one.
I think it's huge.
I think.
Why are we not letting people go to school? And, if you're a full-time student, that is a full-time job, right? So why is that not good enough? And let them have assistance for 2 years while they're on it. That gets them an associate's degree. And that's good enough to get started. And then from that point on, you can
I think
let them leave the nest and they can start building it themselves.
I think even getting through high school is a big one.
Sure.
Like they might have to finish their high school before they even think about associates. Yeah. That might even take a year right off the bat.
So I think, that would be, I just think the whole thing needs to be reformed. Like I want safety nets to help people. I want them to be responsible though. You don't want them abused and and of course there's always going to be some abuse. Sure. But when I watch us as a country throw money around, like piss money away on this is why I was complaining about the conservatives stopping, suing the Biden administration right away over the student loan forgiveness program.
Yeah.
And it's like, here you got something that's actually, at least, whether you like it or not, it is paying the bills for Americans, but you'll send billions and billions of dollars to a place in the world that most people in this country don't even know where in the hell it's located at on a map. No one, they'll have their talking points. They get on TV, on CNN or Fox, and they do their little complaint speech. But they all prove that this new budget they're trying to push through now has so much crap.
Right.
Gender studies in Pakistan. But you're gonna bitch and complain about. I just come on, man. We can do better than this as a country of taking care of each other. I think.
Yeah, I don't. I think the system they have in place is just maintaining the status quo.
I think it was a trap.
I think there's enough people that make enough money off the system that I'm not saying people collecting assistance. I'm saying the people that run these programs. I think they're cozy enough in their jobs. They really don't want to come up with a good solution.
I think it was a trap right from the get-go to enslave people.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? Like low.
I think it was more a way for people, again, to get in a cozy job for a problem they really don't have to fix. It'll just kind of keep chugging along. We don't ever really like you've heard about the homeless situation in California, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen the incomes that some of those people make that manage the homeless in California.
Mm-hmm.
And their 6-figure incomes.
Sure.
And the problem never gets fixed.
Right.
Why would you want to work or stay out of a job?
Yeah, you don't want to solve the problem because you got a job in it, right?
If you're making $200,000 a year, whatever, I don't even know what it is, right? Whatever. $100,000, whatever it is. You really gonna try to fix the problem? Then now you're unemployed and you got to go find a new job.
Right.
I sit here for
I
20 years just kind of maintaining status quo.
I think you can manipulate people too a lot when.
I know what you're saying, and on the surface it could look like that, but I think it's more incompetence than even that.
Maybe.
I don't
wrong.
know that there's a grand scheme to manipulate and have a voter base or this or that. I think it's pure just like, this is a cozy government job. You can just slide into this office. You never have to fix anything. You get a government salary or government retirement.
Well,
why would you want to fix this?
Of course, with me, everything's a conspiracy, right?
No, I'm not saying it's not.
Because when you watch a group of people that tend to vote the same way every time, and you watch politicians sell this shit to them throughout your life, saying, vote for me because the other guy wants to take these things away from you. You almost enslave people into that group where they can't get out. And they keep voting, you know what I mean?
I've heard this argument many times. And I live in a very poor community.
Yeah.
And I know people out here that have assistance.
Right.
They don't even vote. So that narrative right there.
Yeah, and a lot of them.
When I started looking at, because I used to hear the same thing. They're buying a voting base. They're buying a voting base. They're just, they keep these people in the system. These people vote them in the office because they don't want to lose their benefits.
Yeah.
And I've talked to people that have been on the system their whole life, and they do not vote. And they're not the only ones. I've talked to one specific family that told me, hell no, we don't vote. Why do we care?
Right.
So that narrative right there, maybe in some areas, they do.
It's got to be in some, though, because when you look at the demographics of it, of where these clusters of these secured votes, like...
Okay, but you vote, right? How many of those people do you see at your own polling station that you would say, oh, I could see that person's on assistance, that person, and that person?
Yeah.
It's hard. Really think about it, though. If you really think about it, it's like...
Because I was on assistance and I still voted.
I don't know, bro. But were you voting for your assistants though?
No, I think when I was young I was very Democrat, then I kind of evolved to Republican, then to conservative, and then to a blend of like liberal.
Well, I'd like to hear. I hope somebody out there. When you went to vote, did you say, "Well, I'm voting Democrat because I don't want to lose my benefits"?
Right. I don't think.
I know that a certain side of the political spectrum says this because I've heard this ad nauseum on one side.
Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying not to cough in this mic.
Yeah.
I don't think that they vote for their benefits. I think that it's the people that give them the benefit. They want to keep them uneducated, not really paying attention, not engaged into the problems. Just don't worry about it. Just here's your bridge card. Trust us. We got this. To stay as a career politician because they don't want to give up that cozy job, right? I don't think the person who goes into the polling booth and says, excuse me, I'm going to vote this political party because they're going to give me benefits. I think it just happens to align that way that it's a trap that you fall into, and you can keep people uneducated, kind of low educated about the topics of what's going on in the world, because like that, people that are on the system, they're probably not going in and voting for benefits, but they're probably not voting on what's going on in the Ukraine or what's going on in the world, with what's our relationship with China right now, and you know what I mean? Like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They just vote the way they vote because that's the way they were told to vote, and that's the way their parents. I was from a blue collar home. Like, it just went without saying. You're gonna go into the polling station and hit D, or the voting booth. I mean, and hit D because that's it's my whole family is all big union people. Worked for the big three auto companies, and it kind of was just like, you just knew that's how everyone in the family voted. It went without saying. Like,
yeah, I know the union thing's gone before too, and
yeah.
it's still.
So I think they have created voter blocks.
It still seems foreign to me that the unions consistently vote Democrat, because you see, I know several union workers, and it's weird because
yeah.
I mean, these guys drink beer and drive 4-wheel drive trucks and deer hunt and shit.
Right.
And it's so foreign to me. I know that's not all union workers. Right. I get it. But I know a lot of union workers that ride Harleys and fly flags, and
they're like, rednecks, like, you know, kind of,
they're, it's just
pro 2A.
It seemed weird
like
to me.
Roughnecks and
that always voted in that direction.
Right.
I don't know. I don't just.
Yeah, I just there's something to that because you can step back and kind of look at it, and somehow I just think there's some manipulation there, but you know, I like your take on it too. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle.
I don't know. I still don't.
I don't cough at all today until the cameras start rolling.
I never understood that one. Yo, teachers union, I get.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's kind of a given. You know.
Right.
But.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that.
Like, iron workers voting Democrat just seems weird.
Right.
You know. I don't know. Maybe they don't. But it sure seems like that's the narrative, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of manipulation that goes on in the background with that. You know,
I don't know. Anything else new and interesting you come across this week?
Oh, no. I mean the media.
Dude, I saw this is kind of off topic here. I saw an Instagram video my buddy sent me.
Yeah.
And somehow this one ram got the other ram's balls wedged in between his fucking horns, and he was pulling the other one backwards behind his nutsack. Dude,
ouch.
I was like,
that had to be one miserable goat.
Holy
ram.
Shit.
Whatever in the hell.
And they look like they're domesticated.
Is it a sheep? Is it a goat?
A ram is a male sheep.
It's a male sheep. Yeah.
I believe so. I guess I'd better freaking.
I think that's what it is. But yeah, I thought I'd ask because I was like, I want to make sure that I'm right when I say that, but I think it's a male sheep. Man, he was having a bad day then, huh?
Yeah. Rams are adult male sheep.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I was right on that. So, I don't know. Everyone ready for the holidays?
Oh, man, it came fast, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. At the time of recording this, it's the 23rd.
See you almost to 2023. A week away. Bringing in a new year, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. We might podcast New Year's Eve.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Maybe have a guest too.
Yeah. Good.
I'm kind of working on that. So we'll see if that comes together.
Oh, yeah, man. See if you can bring it up for.
I can. I just don't know. Showing it. It's on Reddit.
Yeah. I mean, it's on YouTube, Reddit.
Yeah.
Huh.
Is it gonna?
It'll bring it up.
Yeah, it's. I'm assuming.
The weather. I think this blizzard's just got everything going slow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely seems a little slow.
So yeah, a lot of people's gonna have a white Christmas, you know.
Yeah, a good part of the country. Man, the storm.
Make it easy for Santa to get around, huh?
Yeah, the storm went from
80-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
I think it went from
Oh no. Oh, that gives me a stomach ache.
Oh my lord.
Oh.
Dude, that was so bad.
He is just about ready to neuter that goat.
Dude, they're wedged in there so... They're wedged in there so bad.
Yeah, you should play that for everybody.
Oh man, that is so bad.
Ouch. Yep.
Yes, anyway.
He is having a bad day.
Yeah, like I said, I came across that and I was just like, someone sent the video to me and I was just like,
God, that just makes my stomach hurt watching it. Like, oh, that's terrible.
Oh god, it was so bad. And they don't even show them getting it out of there either.
Yeah.
So you start wondering, like, did they
just cut him off?
They fix that, or
they just put the ram down, or what? You know.
Oh god, it's so bad.
Yeah, I don't.
Should we show
know.
them?
Yeah, I say show it. You know. I don't know. It's on YouTube, so.
Dang, dude.
Yep, I'd show it.
I better not. Look it up. All you gotta do is type in goat's balls stuck in horns.
Yep.
And it pops up. Still trying to figure out what we're allowed to show and what we're not allowed to show. And
we're supposed to be rebels, man. Come on.
Yeah.
It's so, you know, I hate that. Like,
I mean, I get it. You don't want people using your content and profiting off it if you didn't put in the work to procure it and create it.
I respect that. You know, I do.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Because then, where do you draw the line?
Right.
You know,
again, this is one of those hard things for me where I go back and forth on, you know.
Yeah.
I can understand and appreciate you put the work in. You don't want other people kind of profiting off your hard work.
Right. Because if you can just go around and you create a YouTube channel and you just take the biggest videos and post them on your channel and then profit off them, you know, where do you draw the line? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Because technically, even if you're going around pulling videos from everyone else, even that's doing a lot of work. I mean, you're kind of compiling it all in one central area, right? For people to go.
But I'm saying if people, so we create this podcast, right? And we don't make money on this podcast. Just putting that out there. This isn't even monetized.
No.
We don't make any money here. But say we were making $100 an episode. Right. And then someone else was, as soon as we uploaded, somebody else was just taking our videos, put them on their channel, and they were drawing traffic in their direction. Now our profits went down to $35 a video, and they were getting $65, and they weren't creating it and editing. Well, we don't even edit, but creating it, uploading it. They weren't doing anything. All they'd do is take the video and put it on their channel, and they made half of our money.
But if someone was watching their channel for our content, don't you think they would eventually drift back to us?
You would hope so.
You know?
You would hope so.
I don't know. I guess at one time they described the internet and its infancy as like the Wild West, you know. And it kind of was.
Yeah,
for a
it
while.
was. Like, I remember the early internet. It was the Wild West. I couldn't believe the shit you could see
and say on there that it's very restricted now.
Yeah.
You know. And I don't know that I love that necessarily, although there are things about the restrictedness of it that I appreciate. You know,
there are some things I think we can all agree on for a restriction without restricting everything. And I don't know who I was listening to the other day, but they said that, like with these social media platforms, it kind of is a restriction on your First Amendment. Right, on your freedom of speech. These restrictions that we do, because they're not restricting what most of us would consider to be bannable content.
Right.
They're just restricting your right to articulate and form and communicate your opinion. Just flat out.
Yep.
Just saying, I don't like this person because of what they said in this speech.
Right.
And so they just delete it,
They
or
just
they
cancel you.
downrate it so it doesn't get shared. Yep. Right?
Yeah, it gets shadow banned,
Right.
Because of your opinion.
Right.
Oh,
Not that you didn't dox anybody, you didn't show any bad images, you didn't say anything threatening. You just said, here's why I don't like this particular thing.
Situation.
Right.
Or, yeah.
And they go, well, we're just going to block that, or we're just going to delete your account.
Yep.
Just because you had an opinion. So, it's...
Yeah, I wish we had an area where, and maybe Twitter was on its way to redemption on that some. We'll see what happens to it now. I told you, there's something weird about that situation, with Elon Musk offering to buy it, then saying he wasn't going to, then being forced to, but yet he didn't cripple the stock a little bit. He could have saved some money on that himself, and then he's got it for 7 weeks, and then he lets people vote him off. It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll tell you what, Elon, follow our channel, and I'll start a Twitter account, and I'll follow you back. I promise. Yeah. But there's something weird.
It's hard to keep track of even everything. It's so busy. All the information is so busy. I don't know how much of it's intentional to keep you not knowing. Just like, right. I can't even keep track. I'm out. Right.
But you just started to get a platform where maybe both sides could kind of put their ideas out there.
Yeah.
And now, what's going to happen to it now? Is it going to go back to, being ran by the FBI and CIA or what?
Good question. Good question. Yeah, even me, I listen to a lot of podcasts and I consume a lot of this information. Mm-hmm. For me, it's like, it's changing by the hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't understand it myself.
Yeah, because we've even talked about scheduling our upload of our video because typically we do it on a weekend, and that's a terrible time to generate traffic. To grow your channel is just a terrible time to drop a video on the weekend. But man, if you held it back till Monday, like, it's old news,
right?
Like, because it is changing so fast all the time.
Yeah, but then again, like a lot of the stuff we talk about.
Yeah, sometimes it's stuff that,
it's not super relative to the day or
time constraint.
Some of it is, though.
Yeah.
Some of it is what happened this week and what do you think about this subject or that subject.
I'm real curious to watch this thing evolve over at Twitter and see what happens, but I kind of held back. Like, everybody celebrated, like, yeah, we win now, and well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, because I don't know, man. Maybe the conspiracy theories are deep on that one. That rabbit hole goes deep. I don't even know that some of the conspiracies that I've heard and read, I don't even know that some of them you can talk about on YouTube. They probably pulled the video down,
Yeah, I was just seeing if there's anything new. Cause I haven't consumed, with the storm and everything today, and just staying busy around here. I haven't even seen any news to see if there's.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of slow, the news feed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always news out there. Life keeps going.
Yeah.
Whether it's Christmas or not, but it's most people are with their families. They're just kind of. I figured even our video today would probably be a shorter one.
Well, that's a good point you brought up, because I was thinking about that as they were talking about this storm approaching over the last week, and people at work were talking about it, and I made sure I got some extra gas for the generator and got the snow blower out, because I hadn't even used that snow blower in 2 years because we really hadn't had enough snow to get it out and even
to make it worth it,
But I always make sure I drain the gas out of it.
Yeah.
When I'm done, I drain the gas out, and then I run it till it dies, so there's no gas in the carburetor. So it started right up. Everything was good, made sure we had some extra water and shit. And I was at work yesterday, and I'm like, wait a minute. We're talking about a winter storm here. This isn't a meteor impact.
No.
Like, this is a winter storm.
Right.
At most, that could inconvenience us, what, like 3 days? Maybe a week?
Yeah.
It's amazing, though, how all the hype that goes into it. It's like it's a freaking meteor impact, and this is the end of days, and...
But I think what made this one kind of worse, well, for one, this area hasn't had a really hard storm for a while, like you said. So, but I think they hyped it up like, this is going to be the worst storm that would rival the one that we had in 1978.
Yeah.
And remember, I told you in that storm, because I was a kid during that time, that we were snowed in. There were snow drifts to the roof of the house,
Right.
I think that's kind of what made people panic about it a little bit.
But all those people like...
Sure, I mean, we didn't die.
Right.
We shoveled our way out.
I
made sure we had some extra gas, and things like that for the generator. Right. I mean, I wasn't afraid of it or anything.
I know, but it just seemed like you got this feeling like this was imminent, just a build up to the storm,
And it's winter, I mean, it's a winter storm.
Right, it's a winter storm.
I think it's just we haven't had a good one for a little while,
I get it. I just...
Because even the commute at first, my first instinct was like, wow, this is going to be a pretty bad storm. Maybe we'll push the podcast off a couple of days. And then I had the same thought, like, well, I mean, this is where we live, right? I drive all winter long. Right. Why would I not drive in this? It's the same thing. Just, gotta go a little slower. The 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts were kind of crazy. Like, it was blowing some snow. There was definitely a couple of spots where it was white out. Like, I could not see more than 15 feet in front of me. You had to slow. It was like driving in really bad fog. It was crazy.
And I think it's like, I think this is a good reality check for people. You shouldn't have to rush out right before a storm and get all your supplies.
No. Well, I think a lot of people don't have them, right?
I know.
And that's the problem.
Right, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think you should be prepared for this kind of stuff. Like, even for gas, and I got gas, it was for my ex-wife.
Yeah.
There was some gas there. Like, we already had some gas in cans set aside for that. I went and got a little more to make sure that, if there was a power outage for a few days, like, you're not going to lose your food and, to be able to maintain your heat in your home and stuff, I got a 2-year-old there, so, but yeah, what you say, then you kind of wonder, like, how many people didn't even have a gallon of gas or a generator or a candle or a can of tuna fish, no extra bread, like, because they go to the store almost day, and I knew some friends of mine that used to do that. They would shop every day for what they were going to make for dinner that night. I said, don't you have, like, any food at, like, nothing? I mean, they might have a couple of days worth of shit they could cobble a job together if they had to, maybe, but I thought, man,
But these people go on social media and bitch when the power goes out and it's cold out.
Right.
That the crews aren't working fast enough to restore the power. And they're bitching on an iPhone 14 that costs what? How much? $1,400?
$1,400.
But they don't have a generator that you can buy for $1,000.
Got their priorities really mixed up, I think.
So, like, how unfair is that to the people that are out there?
To the guy that's up on the pole now in 40, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts trying to get your power back, and you're bitching,
Right, because he's not doing it fast enough from a phone that costs as much as you could have got a generator
when the zombie apocalypse happens, like, there'll be a lot of zombies. It's going to be a lot of eaters because, they're just...
I just don't understand that logic.
So, I was thinking, because of the storm, and then driving in, it was a pretty good commute to get to the studio today, and I was thinking, like, get home bags and your bug out bags and all these different things, and I was like, should almost have one specifically designed for winter. I think I'm gonna build a little bit different bag to get you home in the winter. If you go in a ditch and you're just stuck there for a while, like, and I was thinking about that, like the get home bag that some people would carry with them to make sure that they'd have some stuff to get them home. Like, do we ever think about modifying that through the seasons? Those should almost be seasonal, and I never really thought of it that way. I always make sure I have a few extra things in the truck in the wintertime, right? But I thought, you should almost tweak that seasonally. As the weather's changing, you should kind of be rotating your gear in that bag a little bit to make sure that you have the right. Do you have an extra pair of gloves?
Right.
Do you have some hand warmers in there? In the summertime, you got your get home bag in the back seat or the trunk or whatever. You probably don't have no hand warmers in there, but you got a bottle of water, right? Because it's hot out or whatever. And I thought, I don't know that I've ever seen any channel like the prepping channels, any of these guys that are the professionals, really address that. Like, you should be rotating that gear with the seasons, or having different bags. Then have 4 different bags for the 4 different seasons. And as it starts to get cold, grab your cold weather bag and.
I don't know as far as that goes, but a lot of people don't even know what you're talking about. But what he's saying is you should have a small backpack in your car with some essentials in it.
Mm-hmm.
Extra pair of socks, some granola bars, a couple bottles of water, some Band-Aids, just a small backpack with some essentials in it. So it doesn't matter if it's summer or whatever. If you had to, if you were in a remote area where you didn't have cell service, you might have to walk until you get cell service, and if it's summertime and it's 90 degrees, you might want a bottle of water. Or, one time we had our kids at the skate park and our daughter fell and scratched her nose.
Yeah.
We had Band-Aids and some
little
triple antibiotic ointment, in there so we could put a Band-Aid on her nose, right? But what I do in the winter is I don't necessarily put stuff in a bag, but I put a jacket in my car.
Right.
I put a pair of boots in there.
Yeah.
And a pair of gloves.
That's
that way,
if
I do get stuck, or if I had to help, if I'm on my way home and I need to help someone out, or I get stuck myself.
Yeah.
I'm not out in the elements just in my work clothes, because I don't necessarily wear a snowmobile jacket and snow pants and big boots into work, because I'm just driving to work and getting out and walking.
Or while you're driving, even, because
it's so bulky. And so I think you should make sure that you do have an extra blanket in the car.
Yeah.
Like you said, some hand warmers, just in case. Because,
you never know.
We live in a pretty good populated area, but between here and my work, I lose cell service about halfway for a stretch of about 2 miles. I don't have any cell service. I can't call or receive.
So it's a long walk in your tennis shoes on a day like today.
Yeah. So you definitely should,
So I always keep some extra stuff in there, but I thought even the bag itself, maybe.
Whatever works for you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just something I thought about while I was driving in the whiteout.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if you have the room and the resources to have 4 different bags and one for each season, and you can just take one out, but good on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm more of the approach that, just a small backpack with, some essentials, and then I add to it if I need to.
My problem is I keep adding shit to it, and the bag.
No, I'm not saying the bag. I'm saying the bag is just a couple bottles of water, a couple granola bars, like I said, first aid kit, just small backpack in the corner of the trunk. It's just always there.
Right. Just a little emergency.
This time of year, I'll put my winter jacket in there. I'll put my winter boots in there. I'll put a winter just in the trunk. I just put that extra stuff in there. I don't use my trunk every day either. I mean, maybe some people, are constantly in and out of their trunk to the point. I don't know. But on a day like this, and you just don't know when these days are going to pop up either. Like,
no.
Because if you don't do it when you're thinking about it, then you forget about it, and then you're out in a storm and you get a flat tire, or you get stuck or whatever, and then all of a sudden you don't have warm clothes.
Right.
And
Yeah, it was just, you daydream while you're driving sometimes like
Hmm.
that. And I was thinking about that. Just, yeah.
How many people even carry a little shovel in their car? My dad always carried one of those little folding
Yeah.
army shovels.
Yep.
I don't carry one.
No?
My dad always had one in
Uh,
his vehicle. Yeah, one of those little
uh,
folding army shovels. Yep. I don't know if he
mm,
ever had to use it or not, but he always had
you
it in
know,
there.
I would think it must have at one point.
Yeah,
I think it was just different. I think
yeah,
people are more self-reliant.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He probably didn't have AAA where,
Yeah.
roadside assistance no matter where you're at, what time of the
Well, he
day,
always had AAA. He did have
yeah.
AAA.
But I'm
Yeah,
saying, the way
yeah.
it is now,
But
right?
maybe,
Like
but I mean,
you hit OnStar and
yeah,
you hit the little
right,
red
right.
triangle in your dash, like before
Yeah,
you
if you
got
were out on a
stuck or
back road somewhere, you didn't have a cell phone, so
right.
you had
How
to.
many times have we been stuck where, we get each
Yeah,
other out, right?
yeah,
You call your buddy like, hey, bring the truck over and
yeah,
let's yank me out. Like it's just different. I think
yeah.
the way people view it now.
Yeah,
So yeah,
maybe we have this false sense of security
yeah,
because
that's what I
we
mean.
hold this
Yeah,
device and we think we're so connected that
yep,
I don't need to carry a winter jacket with me because as soon as I break down, I call, they'll be here in 15 minutes, and
yeah. And I mean they're gonna look. I already gave permission to the app on my phone to use my location. So as soon as I call in, like they triangulate right where I'm at.
uh,
GPS. I don't even care what the name of the road is that I'm
yeah,
on. I don't need to know it. They'll have it all, right? I
yeah,
mean, that's just kind of the way people think now. So yeah, I see why because it was common. Like my dad had all kinds of stuff in the car.
yeah.
Like yeah, a shovel. In
He
the
always had.
wintertime, some cat litter.
Yeah,
Like sand. I think he had sand sometimes too. Like I think it was mostly cat litter he carried in the
yeah,
winter. A
for
couple bags of
sure.
cat litter. So if you get stuck, like get yourself out. So I think just people were more self-reliant than they are now.
But at least in our area, I've noticed I don't think there's as many people working on the road crews. Like I
Yeah,
think they're having a hard time finding people too because the roads
right.
don't seem like they're maintained as well as
Mm-mm.
they were a few years back.
Right.
And I think even tow truck companies are seeing the same
Yeah.
stress too. So I think
Sure.
we could see a point where,
It's gonna swing back the other way,
yeah,
huh?
where there's just not the resources available,
Right.
especially in a storm like this today. I mean,
Right.
good luck. You're
And
gonna
we're
need.
fortunate enough to be, in the generation we lived through some of that. We're pretty self-reliant.
Yeah,
I remember the old man getting stuck and saying, "Get on, push."
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like in the mud and in the snow. Different times. So,
yeah. A little more. Yeah,
God,
yeah. I
they
guess.
throw you in jail now for child abuse, making your kid get out and push you out of the mud.
Jeez. Yeah, you're probably right. You're
Call
probably right.
CPS on your ass.
Jeez.
Child abuse. That's just life for us. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Hmm.
I can hear the wind out there
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to
wailing
go out
around.
and to see what it's like.
Yeah,
You know.
man.
Hmm.
Yeah, not a lot going on. I
No.
didn't.
I kind of stayed out of some of the media a
Yeah,
little bit. Just
they got that.
everyone's visiting with family and upbeat. Like consume so much. Just the world's shitty in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
There's little tinges of good news here and there, the kind of feel good stuff that renews your hope in humanity a little bit. But you know,
well,
I watched a good video about an argument a guy was having with his neighbor through his ring. On the door, the camera. He had a mat that said "F you," and they live in an apartment complex, and she was walking by, and she's got kids or whatever, so she flipped the mat over upside down, and he called her out on it, and they're calling her Karen, and um, I didn't think she shouldn't have touched it. It wasn't hers,
right.
but she didn't really act like a Karen, right? Um, the argument, like she offered to buy him a new one, just said it was very offensive, and she's got children, and asked him not to put it out there. But the point I'm gonna make though is the video I was watching. I think it was Matt Walsh, and he made the connection. I never thought of it that way. That Karen was so racist. It was a racist term to white women. in their 30s and above. And I thought,
I don't know
wow.
about racist. Maybe derogatory, definitely. I don't know
Well,
about
but he made
racist.
the argument racist because if you picked out a name from another race and you're being such a, whether it would be Latino or black, like, oh God, that'd be just terribly racist. But because it was to a white woman, it wasn't conceived that way.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I never thought of it. I just thought of it as something that the kids would say about their parent. I never even thought of it as a color thing until he said that. And I thought, well, yeah, Karens are kind of the white woman, ain't they? You know, like, huh. It was
I
funny.
still don't see it as racist. I see it maybe as derogatory,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, well, quit asking for the fucking manager and putting your hands on your hips.
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah. That's kind of the way I viewed, like, all women being able to be a Karen, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just not terminology I used. It's just something I was kind of vaguely aware of that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was something that it was slang for kids saying you're being a bitch, right? You're just being a bitch. But when I heard him break it down today, and I thought, man, that's actually a good point. Like, I never thought of it.
I guess I'd have to
way.
see his breakdown. I just seen it as a specific attitude type.
Yeah. Right.
You know, a specific personality type.
That, you know, you are, what would you call? I can't even think of how to describe it.
And my daughter says it to my
wife. And
I'm
trying to be careful what I say because of the video, right? Like,
yeah,
you can't say
like
everything
I said,
the way you
want. My daughter says
it
it to my wife 5 times a day.
Yeah.
Tells her quit being a Karen.
The first time I ever heard it, I think, was out of your child's mouth, you know, and I said, what the hell's that, you know?
Yeah.
God, that makes you feel old.
Yeah, so Christmas, man.
Yeah, it's here.
Can't believe it. Time just flies.
Yeah, the older you get, the faster it goes.
Told my wife, I said Sunday's gonna be here and gone before we know it.
Yep.
Just gonna. It's always such a blur. Like, you have the build up because, I mean, it's always on our mind. Like, as soon as one Christmas ends, we're thinking about it. And we'll buy stuff in January, February. If we see something on sale we think someone would like, we pick it up.
Yeah, it's smart.
You know? So we're always thinking about it, but we really have that big build up, usually after Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we really get the gears going. Okay, we gotta, knock this out, start really getting some ideas and getting our shit together, because we like to be done by Thanksgiving.
Right.
You know, that way we're, just ahead of the game. You know, a month ahead, everything's done. You know, we're not trying to, be in a mad dash to finish shit up. But yeah, you have that big build up. And that just seems like it's just over so fast.
Yep, here and gone.
It's like
then you're into Easter.
Yeah, you get up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee, it's like the day's just a blur. And I thought the older we got, the slower it would go as our kids got older. Like, okay, because they don't get up as early.
God, we move slower.
Yeah.
So obviously time's going to slow down, right?
Yeah. Just
hell, I don't get off the couch nearly as fast as I used to 20 years ago.
Just the opposite, though, right?
Just the opposite.
The slower we move, faster time goes, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah. And then New Year's the week after.
Yep.
Got any New Year's plans?
No.
Me neither. No. We've never been a big.
I used to love the New Year and the parties, and I don't know, I just kind of got out of it, I guess. Like, we used to shoot guns, and you know, oh yeah, it was a big deal. I can't remember the last time I fired off a round during New Year's.
I can't tell you the last time I made it till midnight, son.
Yeah, yeah. The last couple of years, I don't even know that I sat up and watched the ball drop. I think it just, went to bed.
Yeah, that makes me feel old sometimes too.
Yeah.
When you think about shit like that, right? Like, it was no big deal to stay up.
I stay up past midnight all the time anyways, usually watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, Yeah.
But then here, when you actually want to set up for it, then you're like, I don't know. It's just a holiday that's kind of lost its zing for me over the years. Like, it's just not as big of a deal. It's, if anything, it pisses me off because now I'm going to spend 2 weeks writing 2022 and then having to white it out to put 2023 on there to, remind myself that it's the next year. It takes me 6 months to train myself to write the date right.
Check this out. I don't have anything personal up there, right?
Nope.
You don't see anything?
No. I don't see anything.
I don't see anything. So what I'm showing is the next 10 days for our area. Look at that. That's tomorrow. Yeah. Look at next Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The people that are listening, tomorrow, excuse me. It says 18 for a high, 15 for a low. 1 week from tomorrow, which is Saturday, Christmas Eve, to New Year's Eve, a high of 49, low of 41 with rain.
Yeah. Just burns me because it kills our ice production right there.
Well, it doesn't really hurt my feelings too much because I want to get the boat out and do some fishing.
You'll be able to.
Yeah. So, cause I really want to run it one more time.
Right.
And clean the gas out of it.
It'd be a good time to go.
Isn't that crazy, though?
Breaks my heart, man. I want the hard water. I want the ice. Like, I am dying to get out there and get some ice fishing in. And, I'm seeing pictures of these guys in northern Minnesota. And, like, it's, some of the groups that I follow online on social media, the ice fishing groups. And they're in Canada. They're all over the place. And, they're smashing fish left and right. And I'm like, oh, our water's wide open. I'm like, come on, freeze up. And then you finally get this cold snap. And you're like, okay. Maybe this will kick it off, and then you look, and it's like
49 degrees next Saturday.
So much for any ice production.
Yeah,
we're still a few weeks away, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, this is
once you get that skim of ice, it doesn't take long to build it.
As long as it stays consistent.
As long as it stays cold, you'll build 6 inches of ice in no time. But
I like ice fishing for about a month or so, and then I'm ready to go.
See, I could ice fish all year long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love it. I love, looking down the hole in the ice. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. You're in the shanty. I cook out there. It's like camping.
I guess for me, it's too much just sitting. It's just too much sitting and just like.
Right.
Like.
True.
At least in the boat, I stand up. I'm casting. I'm sitting down, changing lures, standing up. We're moving the boat to a new spot.
Which I do.
It seems like when I'm ice fishing, I'm just like watching the camera and just like jigging, and I don't know, maybe there's just not enough movement in it for me. But deer hunting, I don't mind.
Yeah,
that's weird, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more interactive than deer hunting. Just sitting there trying to move real slow and not get caught moving up in the tree, but. I don't know. I'd ice fish all year long. Wow. I love my shanty. I love the gear. I love all of it. So, and it does give the guys the chance to fish the big water who don't have boats and they don't have their $100,000 walleye rig, so you can get out there and
I was watching Fred Trost video.
Yeah.
While. It was last year. It was around ice fishing season last year. He was doing a video on ice fishing. He brought up that point that it gives you the access to areas that a lot of guys don't have access to.
Right. Yeah, I love fishing out there for walleye.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd still rather be in the boat though.
And I love fishing out of the boat too. I like jigging off the side of the boat. I like casting,
I don't like necessarily like July boat fishing when it's hot and the sun's beating down.
You got all the bugs and
I like the early April, May, early June.
Right.
Then August, September.
Season.
I always say I'm going to go fishing in October, and I never do because I'm hunting.
Yeah.
One of these days, maybe when I'm retired and I just have nothing but time, I'll do it. Because I know the fishing's really good in October. They say they're trying to pack on that weight for winter. So it's really good aggressive bite. They said some of the fall bites are actually better than the spring bites.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because the fish in the spring are busy spawning.
That's why I told you with the ice fishing, it was first and last ice is always the best fishing you get, you know. And I mean, the ice in between's fun too, but man, you get those hot bites, you know, first ice and last ice, and it's those seasons, you know.
I wonder what it'd be like to live in northern Minnesota, you know, all those lakes, you know, up there in northern Wisconsin, just all those lakes.
I'd be in heaven.
How fun that must be.
Yeah.
We have lakes around here, but it's not. Yeah. It's not the same. I don't think it is. It seems like it's harder around here to find
access. You know what I mean?
Access and good quality. It's. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it seems like the good lakes, like you can't even get on them.
Yeah.
House is jammed in there so tight. There's no access points, and you know. Sometimes you'll have a shitty little DNR launch or something to them, but
up there it just seems so vast.
Right.
Like Lake of the Woods, right?
Yeah.
How massive that is, and the walleye and the pike fishing, the bass and perch and the bluegill and the crappie. It just seems like when you watch the videos, anyways, it looks like just a phenomenal.
You know, that's probably what they think about us too, though. You know, they watch videos of Saginaw Bay, the guys out in the Saginaw Bay area, you know, walleye fishing, and probably think, man, it's it'd be nice to be over there.
But access again, you have to have a really big. I don't want to say really big, but a well-equipped, decent boat. You can fish the bay, right? You're not gonna go out there in a 14-foot.
No, I was out in a 16-footer and a boat died, so it's real easy to get in a lot of trouble out there in a boat. You know, the weather changes real fast. You can go from flat water that's like glass to 5-foot waves in no time.
Mm-hmm.
And 5-foot wave ain't that big, but in a 16-foot boat, it's a big wave.
No shit. Yeah, no, I don't want no part of it.
Mm-mm.
I fished the bay more when I was younger than I have now. It's been years since I've been out on the bay. We used to have a lot of fun. We used to go out there and fish perch.
Yeah.
Run crappie rigs.
Yeah.
Minnow on
crappie
each end of it.
Yeah.
Get 2 perch at a time out there. I think we drifted for them or something. It's been so long since I've done it, but
I love fishing the bay. It's fun, I love being out there in a boat, and I love being out there on the ice. But both ways, you got to be careful because
I've never fished it on the ice.
Oh, it's unlike anything else. It's my favorite fishing to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely by far my favorite fishing to do. Take your machine, go out a couple miles. Sometimes the nearest cluster of shanties are a mile away from you. It's like fishing on the moon,
Mm-hmm.
You cut those holes, and you're looking for a pot of walleye under there.
Right.
And man, sometimes there's so many fish in there you can't even keep your line down.
Huh.
Other times, it's fishing. Sometimes it's slow, but it's my favorite fishing to do. And you get to either use the snowmobile or the quad. You're kind of mixing everything up, right? You're getting a little machine time, getting to use your machine, so you're getting a ride in.
It's a cold ass ride.
I don't know, man. When you got your ice armor shit on, you know what I mean? You stay pretty warm. Your hands, you gotta get good gloves or hand warmers on your machines. Work, because sometimes I was six miles out. That's a long ride back in the dark. You get back to store and you can't feel your thumbs, like the thumb throttle, right? Like, there was a couple of times I had not very good gloves, we'll say, and about halfway back I had to reach over and use the opposite hand to control the throttle because my thumb was so numb I couldn't feel it anymore. I thought I might have to have this amputated.
I should get hand warmers for my quad. I used to have them on my snowmobile, obviously.
And they work good.
Yeah, I should get some.
I got some covers that go over the handlebars too. That you slip your hands in, and those work pretty good. But now I just got really good gloves too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that helps. Like, I got a couple different styles. I'll have to show you. You know, some of them
I
are mitts, some of them are gloves, but they're good.
I my snowmobile. I remember one time we went up north riding. I went with some guys I worked with,
Yeah.
and I I thought hand guards were just for sticks and shit hitting your
Right.
hands,
Oh
right?
no.
And we left the trailhead, and I forgot to turn my hand warmers on.
Right.
We got about a mile down the trail going, 50, 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden my
Yeah.
hand just went just froze. I was
Yep.
like, yeah. And I
Yeah.
forgot to turn the hand warmers. So I kicked the hand warmers on. But the other thing I learned, I ended up buying hand guards after this.
Yeah.
Those hand guards keep that
The
wind from
wind.
hitting the front
Yep.
of your hand
Yeah.
directly.
Makes
So,
a big
oh
difference.
man. Yeah, after that trip, I went and bought hand
Yeah.
guards and put them on. And
Yep.
man, what a difference next time I rode.
Right.
Keeping that hand off, the air right off your knuckles.
Yeah.
I got them on my quad
Because
too.
that's cold. You figure, man, you're out there when it's freezing.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably 20 degrees on a nice day. When
Yeah.
you're out riding the snowmobile in 20-degree weather, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then you're going 50 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Doesn't take long. Your skin freezes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I think it's a pretty good one. Hour and a half. You know,
Yeah.
holidays.
Yeah. Sorry.
If anyone
I
will
didn't-
even watch this one,
I know.
anyways, who
I
knows?
just didn't have a lot to go with here.
No,
I
I just figured it'd be kind of a mellow, kind of laid back, probably a shorter video today, just to keep pushing content out. But
between getting ready for the storm and getting ready for the holidays,
Yeah.
I just didn't consume a lot and have
Nah,
a lot of
me
time
either.
to digest shit and
right,
think about shit. It's been kind of all over the
Yep.
place,
But it's all right. We're still,
Yep. Still
giving people the chance, to throw some comments to us if there's something
Yeah.
they want us to talk about. Still, we needed to get the video out anyway. So
Yeah.
even if it was a shorter one, at least it's out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't content rich.
Yeah.
All right. Remember to like, share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring the
Yep.
bell,
Thanks,
leave us a
guys.
comment. Let us know what you want to hear about.
Appreciate it.
See you guys.
See ya.